Hey guys, it's Natalie. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I'd also like to welcome back all of my wonderful subscribers. I like making crafting tutorials incorporating Dollartree, Walmart, and recycled items, trash to treasure, farmhouse style. That is my favorite. And today we're going to be making frames. And the best part about it, each frame costs $2 or less to make, and you probably have all these items already in your home. So for all you new guys that are here watching me for the first time, if you can subscribe by hitting that little heart that's on the lower right hand side of the screen. Also hit the notification bell so that this way YouTube will inform you when I'm back. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nat Creates Crafts. I'd also like to thank everybody for all your wonderful comments and support. You're the reason that my little channel is growing, and I cannot thank you more from the bottom of my heart. All right, thanks for being here with me today, guys, and let's get crafting. Our first project is the woven picture frame. You're going to need one 5x7 frame, Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew, paint brushes, a little bit of cardboard, jute cord, crafter square jute cord, bamboo skewers, we're going to need about 4, macrame cord or yarn, glue gun, glue sticks, cutting pliers, and scissors. I first started off by dismantling the frame. Then we're going to use the Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew and our paintbrush, and we're going to apply one even good coat, making sure to cover the edges. And you're going to allow that to completely dry. Now we're going to cut 4 pieces of cardboard 1/2 inch in width, and we're going to cut 2 at 8 inches in length and the other 2 at 5 inches in length. This will form the cardboard base for our frame. We're now going to take our bamboo skewer and our ruler, and we're going to mark it off at 2-inch increments. You should need a little over 3 for this project. I then took my cutting pliers and I cut them at the marks that I made. Once the pieces were cut, I took one piece of my cardboard, and on the side where it's corrugated, that's where we're going to be sticking the pieces of the skewers. So you're going to start from the top and be careful to push it in. You don't want to rip the cardboard. And the second hole, if you can see, it's got little bumps in it. You're going to then stick your second piece, and then you're going to continue to do so. So every other hole, you're going to stick glue, then stick a piece of your skewer. Just making sure you push it in gently so you don't rip the cardboard. You're going to continue to do that process for the whole side. At the very end, you're just going to peel the cardboard just a little bit to get that last skewer in. For the 8-inch pieces, you should have about 13 skewers. When you're all done, there should be 10 on the top, 10 on the bottom, and 13 on either side. Now it's time to assemble the frame. You're going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure all of the sides. Once your sides are secure, we're then going to cut 4 more pieces at 1.75 inches. We're going to take those 4 pieces and we're going to glue them to the top and the bottom of the cardboard. Just add a little bit of hot glue and secure, waiting till it's completely dry. Then you're going to take your jute and we're going to glue it to one corner of our frame and attach it. And then comes the fun part. We're going to start weaving the jute in and out of the skewers. Making sure you hold the jute down. If you want, you can glue a little bit here and there, but I just felt as long as you just held it down, you really didn't need to add any glue. When you get to the very end of the first row, you're going to glue the 2 corner pieces so that this way your weave starts on the right side. So we're going to flip the frame to the back, and we're going to put a little bit of glue on either piece, attaching the jute so that this way our weave can start on the opposite side. You're going to continue to do so till you get to your second row, and then you're going to be gluing it to the front. I weaved about 13 rows, repeating this process, making sure to glue the edges in the corner. On the 13th row, I then added some hot glue to each skewer to secure the final row. When you get to the end, you're then going to flip your frame to the back and then just secure the end of the jute and then just cut off the excess. Now we're going to take our macrame, and yes, we're going to crochet again. We're going to do a simple single chain crochet. If you don't feel comfortable crocheting, you can always braid. And if you don't have macrame cord, you can easily use yarn. I'm going to then crochet a chain long enough that it's going to fit along the outer edges of our frame. What I'm going to then do is just secure the tail ends on either side of the chain with a little bit of hot glue and just cut off any excess. We're then going to secure the chain with the tail end of the skewers. We're going to add a little bit of hot glue to each skewer and just make sure that your chain is laying flat, and you're going to glue it right onto the skewers. When you get to the corners, you're going to add a little bit of hot glue just to the edge of that jute so that the chain can be secured to it. And you're just going to follow those steps, the same steps, until you cover the complete outer edge of your frame. When you get to the end, just make sure you crochet enough just so it overlaps just a little bit, and also secure that end so when you glue it together, you can't tell where it started and where it ended. I then crocheted another piece of the macrame long enough so that it can cover the cardboard on the inner part of the frame. So you're just going to attach it with some hot glue and press down on the chain, making sure it lays flat. I also went ahead and I crocheted another chain of the regular jute so that it can cover the inside part of our frame to cover up the exposed cardboard. I did the same process, just used some hot glue. When it was all done, this is what it looked like. I really loved the way it turned out. I also made a bow. So you tell me guys, what do you prefer, with or without? Let me know in the comments below. Our second project is a two-tone wooden frame. You're going to need one 5x7 picture frame, one package of Jenga blocks, two-toned, Waverly chalk paint in the colors truffle and cashew, a paintbrush, neutral colored buttons, 4 medium and 8 small, glue gun, glue sticks, and a right-angled ruler. We're going to start by dismantling the frame. Then we're going to take our Waverly chalk paint in the color truffle and our paintbrush, and we're going to apply one good coat, making sure to cover the edges and also allowing it to completely dry. We're then going to take our Jenga blocks and we're going to pair them in two, and we're going to glue them together. I'm using hot glue for video purposes, but I would highly recommend using some wood glue. You're going to do this for all of the pieces. Now we're going to take 3 of our glued pieces in our right-angled ruler to make sure that it's level and square, and you're going to attach these 3 pieces as I'm showing you. I then glued another set of 3, but making the middle opposite, as you'll see. Then we're going to glue all 6 of those pieces together. I made 2 sets of these rows. Now we're going to glue 3 more pieces like that, and we're going to do a second one, but the opposite in the center. When you're all done, you should have 4 individual pieces. Now it's time to assemble our frame. I used a piece of cardboard measuring 5 by 7, so this way I knew exactly where to glue the 4 pieces. I then just attached it with a little bit of hot glue, but like I said, I would highly recommend that you use wood glue to give it a more secure bond. When you're done assembling the frame, we're going to take our Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew, and we're going to distress the dark pieces of our frame. You can use as little or as much as you'd like, but I always like starting little and then just adding more to my taste. Now to the light pieces, we're going to use the Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle, and we're going to distress it with that. When I was all done distressing it, I went again with another layer of the Cashew, and I distressed the entire piece, also making sure to distress the edges. Now we're going to take our frame and we're going to apply a generous amount of hot glue, and we're going to attach it right to the wooden frame that we made. Now we're going to take our buttons, and I'm going to take the medium-sized buttons and I'm going to glue them one on the top, bottom, and the 2 sides. Then I'm going to take our smaller buttons and I'm going to glue them on either side of the medium-sized buttons. Our second frame is all done, and the best part, it only cost $2 to make and with beautiful results. I really love how this one turned out. Our last project is the cutting board frame. You're going to need 1 bamboo cutting board, Waverly chalk paint in the colors Truffle and Cashew, paint brushes, Cricut accessories, brown vinyl, and clear contact paper, but if you don't have a Cricut, you can always use sticky letters or paint the word, jute cord, small clothespins, glue gun, glue sticks, and scissors. We're going to take our cutting board and we're going to use the Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew and our stipple brush, and we're going to distress our board. Can you tell I like distressing? You're going to distress it just to your liking. Then after that, I'm going to distress it again, but this time I'm going to be using the color Truffle. When I was happy with the way it looked, I then took my jute and then I glued it to the back as shown, and I attached it. Then I flipped the board to the front, and then I wrapped the jute around the board evenly. I did this about 5 times. When I got to the 5th row, I flipped it to the back again, and then I glued it down about 2 inches. Then I flipped the board to the front, and then I wrapped another 5 rows in the opposite direction. Then when I got to the end, I just glued it to the back of the board and then cut off the excess. I then took a little wooden heart I had from Valentine's Day and I glued it right where the jute crosses. I then used this design on Cricut Design Space, and I will link the SVG and the printable in the description box below. I then sent that design to my machine, where then I cut it on some brown vinyl, and then I weeded it, applied the clear contact paper, and burnished it, and then lifted it. I then applied the vinyl letters to my board, burnished it, and then lifted off the contact paper. Now it's time to address the hanger. I took 2 small nails from a kit that I did get at the Dollar Tree, and I carefully hammered 2 of these nails on the top of the board, leaving about, I want to say, a 1/4 inch out of each nail. This way I was able to take my jute, and then I put 1 knot in the front, and then I flipped the board to the back, and I knotted it again. And then I cut off the excess. I determined the height that I wanted, and then I repeated the process on the other side, cutting off the excess. I then took 2 of the little clothespins and I just painted them with a little bit of the truffle. Then I took a piece of cardboard measuring the 3.5 by 5 to determine where I wanted the clothespins to be to attach them to the board. Our photo frame is all done, and this one only cost $1.50 to make, and it came out so pretty. I love it. Thanks again for watching. Remember, you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nat Creates Crafts. Please don't forget to subscribe, so this way we'll be seeing each other next time. Until then, happy crafting, God bless, and take care.